Hi everyone, my name is Gautam Gupta and I want to welcome you all to my YouTube channel, Universal Fundamentals. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the first house and its significance to anyone's birth chart. But before I begin, I want to invite everybody to please check out my website, which is universal-fundamentals.com, where you can learn more about me and what I do as a Vedic astrologer. You can also sign up for my free monthly newsletter where I will be providing you with all the important transit dates to look out for. I also want to emphasize that I practice sidereal Vedic astrology and not Western tropical astrology. So therefore, some of the meanings for each house may be different if you're used to studying Western tropical astrology. So with that being said, let's get started with talking about the first house. So to begin, the first house is actually one of the most important houses in Vedic astrology. This house becomes your chart ruler, and the placement of this planet heavily determines the focus of your life. The first house is also known as your rising sign. It is the sign that is rising on the eastern horizon at the time of your birth. The first house pretty much represents who you are. It represents your physical body, overall health, sense of self, and identity. If the condition and ruler of the first house are both well placed, then this indicates a sound life. The person will have a clear direction in life and good health. The first house is also a huge indicator of a personality that each individual can have. Now, depending on the planets that occupy the first house, a person can have many different types of personalities. Planets such as Jupiter and Mercury in the first house will give a person a great sense of direction in life. These two planets receive directional strength regardless of what sign they occupy. Jupiter or Mercury in the first house will give the person intelligence, logic, and wisdom necessary to navigate various areas of their lives. With either of these two placements in the first house, a person will have a great deal of joy and optimism throughout life. Now, Saturn, on the other hand, will give a person a great deal of responsibilities and duties throughout their lives. People with Saturn in the first house, they tend to mature a lot faster than usual because they kind of feel they're responsible for everybody's well-being. And this can be due to circumstances in their childhood which force them to grow up at an early age. However, with this maturity, these people become one of the most responsible people that you can rely on. They tend to have a lot of wisdom, and especially if Saturn is well placed. Now, if somebody has Venus in the first house, then this tells me that the person will have a very beautiful and physical appearance. Venus represents beauty, fashion, creativity, youthfulness, and an overall sense of just having fun in life. Therefore, a person with Venus in the first house can very well be into the latest beauty and fashion trends if Venus is well placed according to the sign. It can also indicate that the person has a very fun-loving type of personality. In addition, it is very possible that this person will have excellent social skills throughout life. Now, if a person has Moon in the first house, then this tells me that the person is ultra sensitive to their environment. The person has the innate ability to sense out different types of energies in their environment. The Moon is the fastest moving planet in Vedic astrology, and its placement makes a huge difference to a person's emotional and psychological well-being. It tells me that the person is very focused when it comes to managing their emotions. It can also tell me that the person has a very youthful appearance. Now, Rahu and Ketu in the first house, it'll give a certain sense of a fated life, especially if you have Rahu in the first house conjunct your ascendant degree. With Rahu being in the first house, a person will tend to be more materialistic and outward throughout life. Conversely, if you have Ketu in the first house, the person will be more spiritual and inward throughout life. It can also denote somebody who is very slender and slim. Now, if you know anyone who has Mars in the first house, then you can pretty much bet that this person will be a go-getter. He or she will be very assertive in asking for what they need or want. However, with Mars in the first house, you have to be careful to not get too impulsive or aggressive, as this can cause problems in the area of relationships. You can also be accident prone if you have Mars in the first house, so please be careful in general. Now, for those who have Sun in the first house, you end up becoming the center of attention in wherever you are or whatever you're doing. People pretty much take note of who you are, and you relatively command your presence very well. Also, for those who have Sun in the first house, This tells me that you were born right around sunrise time or early morning, wherever you were born. Sun also represents leaders and kingships. So this can mean that you're somebody who likes to take charge or somebody who takes charge well. Now, for those of you who don't know, I also consider the outer planets when using Vedic astrology. The outer planets are Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto. And through learning Vedic astrology over the years with my teacher, Joni Patri, I have found that these planets have a profound effect on a person's birth chart. The outer planets reflect the generational masses and therefore are extremely slow moving. Neptune in the first house can mean somebody who has a very spiritual and mystical outlook towards life. The person will most likely love things that are beyond this physical realm. It can also simply mean that the person has a lot of interests in the film and movie industry. This is because, movies and films, they're kind of beyond this world. It's an escape mechanism that many people use to get away from their daily routines. However, one thing I would caution with people who have Neptune in the first house is that they should try to be as realistic as possible, because Neptune can represent delusions and deceptions. So it is very important that people do not get caught up in things that may seem too good to be true. I oftentimes tell people with this placement is that if you think something is too good to be true, it probably is, and you should take caution before making any drastic steps. Now, for those who have Uranus in the first house, this is a placement of somebody who's very innovative and loves to think outside the box. Don't expect anybody to be a traditionalist or someone who enjoys following the rules, whoever has Uranus in the first house. This is a person who loves rebellion and new ideas, so take note if you see that in somebody's first house. And lastly, if you have Pluto in the first house, then the theme of control becomes very important in your life. With Pluto in the first house, people tend to have the feeling of being controlled throughout their life, which can in turn make them a bit controlling. If you or somebody you know has Pluto in the first house, then learning how to surrender control becomes a focal point for your life. So I hope this has given you some insights about the qualities and characteristics of the first house. This is just a brief overview of what the first house entails, and there's so much to learn about the first house, but this should give you a good general overview. And if you would like a reading or would like to learn more about me and what I do as a Vedic astrologer, then please check out my website, which is universal-fundamentals.com. And if you happen to find this video useful, please give it a thumbs up by hitting the like button, because doing so will greatly help me with the YouTube algorithm. And also, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell notifications so you don't miss out on any of these similar YouTube videos in the future. Thank you so much, and I will see you all in the next video. Have a great day.